I've literally heard music more than people talking to me. I feel like I learned a lot more from watching Lang Lang play than the actual lesson I had before that. My back is so sweaty. I'm already 20 minutes late, and it turns out I went to the wrong building and I was going through the whole building trying to find his room. He gives me like unlimited amounts of ideas when I'm playing my pieces. Alright, this is a new day. I'm here again at the practice room. This time we have 2 hours of practice. And then we're going straight to Hanns Eisler University in the middle of Berlin for another lesson. So I feel like yesterday the practice was a little bit too rushed because I only had an hour. But today I have 2 hours. I have to try and make the most out of it. It's just another day of practicing. And today I'm going to try and incorporate some of what Alexander taught me yesterday, which was try and not force my sound out of my fingers and just only move my fingers. Like focus on moving it. Focus on minimal movement in the fingers, which is a new concept to me actually. It's time to leave and I finished practicing, but I had a very big revelation today and I just wanted to share very quickly before I had to leave. This whole time I thought I had to keep my wrist very, very flat so that I can have more control when I play one note. But sometimes when I'm playing big runs, like, right? I get that kind of slip in the middle. And I realized if I think about my elbow being as low as possible, that actually fixes all the problems and jumps and everything, right? And then if I think about my wrist going down, it might not work for you guys, but it worked for me for the past 2 hours, and I might experiment a little bit more with that. But that helped actually secure my fingers a lot more. So when I'm going to play for the professor right now, the one thing I'll be thinking about is keeping my elbows as low as possible. All right, that's enough. Let's go. I was only inside for 2 hours, and already the sun set, and it's dark. It feels like it's really late, but it's only like 5 p.m. right now. I just want to quickly show you guys what it looks like from the outside. It's so pretty. Like, that's the river right there. I'm already 20 minutes late, and it turns out I went to the wrong building and I was going through the whole building trying to find his room. But it's a 15-minute walk and I kind of ran half the way here and my back is so sweaty. So, how are you doing besides running through? I'm doing okay.
Everything fine?
Yes.
How about Europe?
Europe was absolutely amazing. I think it's the scenery, especially the natural scenery, is so beautiful.
Okay, you haven't been to Brandenburg yet.
Yeah.
So let's do some music now because time is a bit limited now.
Yes.
Good. Okay, we already talked about phrasing online. Now it's a bit better to really hear each other.
Yes.
So micro phrasing is one thing, and of course like macro phrasing is another thing. We talked about like the architecture of the preludium. divided by different arguments. Can you show me that macro phrasing much more? Like micro phrasing would be like this little structure is leading towards D flat. This is leading towards A flat, but all those together have one climatic moment in this 2/7. Resolving here. And so on. How would you differentiate the character of this to this?
Well, it's in the semiquavers, I think.
The character, the characteristics.
Right. It was a fugue. of like,
I'm talking about character, psychological aspects. Not like musicologists, like the music theoretical aspects. Psychology. Like, just like human aspects, like emotional aspects.
I feel like it was
Atmospheric.
very. I think I remember talking about this in the lesson as well last time, but it feels very holy to me, and then kind of breaks out of it and then becomes more playful.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think something light is happening here.
Yes.
This is much more like a church situation, yeah? Church choir, organ choir situation. And suddenly something like something natural is happening. So, like the church is opening, yeah? Like the walls are going down, the roof is suddenly like disappearing, and we are in nature now. Something. Okay.
Can I just ask one other question?
Yeah.
Very quickly.
While packing, please.
Yes. I tend to have problem with speed with Chopin etching.
Well, yeah. What happened?
I just want to know your approach to maybe improving it without.
There's nothing like in general. There's no general recipe to do that. You need to observe exactly where the problem is.
Okay.
And then, like always, like take things apart,
yes.
like an engine, like something like difficult and complex in engineering. You need to take it apart.
Yes.
And then you need to find out, engineering-wise, statistically, where the problem actually is. A teacher who is like very much into engineering and physiology can help you there.
Yes.
But that needs lots of actually engineering and physiology knowledge. Then you put it together again, but not in tempo yet, but medium tempo. And then you try to get faster, step by step. You cannot jump on a mountain. You have to do that step by step, and you have to have camps.
Thank you so much for your time today. Oh my god, finished the lesson. Like, I felt so bad when I walked in because I was 30 minutes late and he didn't look happy, but also he gave me an 80-minute lesson. I guess he was going to give me more if I came on time. That would have been like 2 hours, which I'm really grateful for. But yeah, he also stayed really late and then ran off because he said he needs to catch a train back home. He was nice in general, and it was a very inspiring lesson because he gives me like unlimited amounts of ideas when I'm playing my pieces, because he analyzes everything harmonically and like feeling, even while being very technical. But this is Hanns Eisler Uni in Berlin, and it's one of the most difficult unis to get in. So I'm not sure if I'll be able to see him again, meaning that I don't know if I'll be able to pass the auditions to get into this university, because the requirements are just really high. But anyway, it's a lot of food for thought. This is a concert hall right in front of the university. But I think at this point in time, I've reached the stage where I've received so many lessons and I haven't really been able to execute it in my practice because I haven't been practicing that much. Luckily, there's only one lesson left in Switzerland. I just need to make sure I practice a little bit before I get to the next professor. I'm actually going to a Lang Lang concert right now. I urgently called an Uber and I'm rushing there right now because it starts in like 20 minutes. Imagine if the professor gave me more lesson time and I just completely forgot about the concert. I don't think I'll be able to record while the concert's going on. I'm sorry guys, you don't get to see Lang Lang. But maybe I'll take a video of him bowing or something. Also, this hall as well is gorgeous. It's like a 360. I'll see you later. Bye bye. I'm finally home. Tonight we have another takeaway for dinner. I feel like I learned a lot more from watching Lang Lang play than the actual lesson I had before that, because during the lesson he was more playing orientated. So he performs to me and I'm just expected to kind of sit there and listen to what his intentions are. There are teachers like that, like that's something I'm pretty familiar with. And also he's the sort of teacher to like play himself first and then kind of analyze the music and then tell me what to do next. I want to talk about Lang Lang's concert. So I was fortunate enough to sit really close to him, even though I got the cheapest tickets, because I was in the podium. There's a lot of things I realized just sitting in the concert and thinking to myself. There's something I really want to talk about is, I think it was during a Polonaise or Mazurka. He played a bass notes, and once that bass note rings out, it obviously starts to die, right? And there was two exact phrases with the same thing where it's bass note, chord, and then bass note, chord, like that. It's the same notes. It kind of shocked me how he separated the two in terms of musicality wise. He played bass note, chord, and then same pressure or same sound with the bass note, but he just waited for the sound to decay and then played it softer, matching that decay. And that is something I've never thought about before, ever. I should probably try it. The only problem is that obviously, like, pianists know that Lang Lang sometimes doesn't keep tempo and he does a lot of rubatos when he wants. But this leads on to my next point, is that when I was watching him, I actually realized that even though a lot of people criticize Lang Lang about interpretation, something clicked in my head. I think it's because I just came out of a lesson straight to a concert. I realized that even if it's a really dodgy interpretation from other people's perspective, if it's convincing enough for yourself, that's all you need. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying you can do whatever you want, but if you have your own philosophy and your own approach and it's convincing enough, those three are actually enough to become a great artist. One thing I've realized is you can't please every single teacher. Like, if Lang Lang played for 10 different teachers, there's going to be like about 8 teachers that are going to criticize him on something. It doesn't necessarily have to be in a bad way. Like, someone's always going to say, oh, why don't you do this like this? But now I'm starting to realize, as I mature as a musician and as I get older, I need to set my own standards and my own philosophy and approach to approaching music. And whenever teachers tell you to fix something, right, it's mainly because you don't really think about what you're playing. You're just moving your fingers. If you really thought about how you should approach this phrase and what kind of sound you want, and you execute it well, then whatever your teacher says is just going to be another suggestion. And obviously teachers have more experience than us, that's why they're teachers, right? But I think as I'm getting older, I should try and convince myself first and prioritize what I want first rather than trying to please someone else. And that's what I really gained from listening to Lang Lang. In the beginning of this trip, I kind of had the expectation of meeting a really good teacher, and then them providing me with everything I need. But now I'm starting to realize getting advice and lessons from different professors only makes me realize that I have to start doing all of this by myself. Essentially, I need to become my own teacher. And for any musicians out there watching this, I want to encourage you to become your own teacher and set your own standards during practice. Don't let any note slip past. Don't practice and move your fingers without thinking about it. And yeah, this is the end of the beginning. What? This is kind of like a checkpoint in my life. The end of student Sean and then the beginning of artist Sean. That's so cringy, but let me enjoy my burger in peace, please. I hope this was entertaining to watch and educational. That's it. Good night.